And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Long Beach. And happy Pride! Happy Pride! Let us give a warm UUCLB welcome to Ryan Cassata. Now the boy Samuel was ministering to the Lord in the presence of Eli. And the word of the Lord was rare in those days. There was no frequent vision. At that time, Eli, whose eyesight had begun to grow dim so that he could not see, was lying down in his own place. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was lying down in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was. And then the Lord called Samuel, and he said, "Here I am." And he ran to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." But he said, "I did not call. Lie down again." So he went to lie down. And the Lord called again, "Samuel." And Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." But he said, "I did not call, my son. Lie down again." Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, and the word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. And the Lord called Samuel again for the third time. And he arose and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." Then Eli perceived that the Lord was calling the boy. Therefore Eli said to Samuel, "Go lie down, and if he calls you, you shall say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant hears.'" So Samuel went and lay down in his place. And the Lord came and stood and called as he did in other times and said, "Samuel, Samuel." And Samuel said, "Speak, for your servant hears." The first chapter of Samuel for us to ponder together as we welcome Ryan to our pulpit.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cassata. I'm very excited to be here. I use he, him pronouns. I am trans and openly trans for over half of my life now. And I study at Pacific School of Religion on Zoom currently. And I'm studying for my MDiv, and I'm also studying for social transformation as I am an activist. And I started my coming out process at age 12, and I'm going to share a little bit about that with you today. So thank you for welcoming me into your community, and thank you to Reverend Lissa for having me here. I'm very excited to be here. So, thank you. At some point in our lives, we are going to get a call. But will we be awake enough to hear the call? Will we be awake enough to answer the call? In the 1 Samuel chapter 3, we witness a young boy being called on by God. At first, Samuel ignores God, seeking guidance from his mentor Eli. Eli got Samuel to listen closer, and then Samuel eventually becomes awake enough to hear God. If Samuel is willing to listen, God is there to direct him. We all hear calls. Maybe it's God calling. Maybe you hear God's call through a stranger who needs help. Maybe it's a gut feeling inside of you, intuition, right? Or maybe you feel the call to be more authentically you. You may hear that call so many times that it is impossible to ignore it, just like Samuel. If you hear your phone ringing over and over again, how long can you go on ignoring it before your curiosity begs you to see who it is and what it is they want? How long? Want to call out? Want to call out? I could go like 20 minutes probably. So not very long, right? So I was super young when my phone started ringing and it was off the hook. Now, I wasn't as lucky as Samuel. It wasn't a direct call from God, but I do believe that it was a work of God. And my call was from the producers of CNN. CNN wanted me to go on international television, to go on the Larry King live show to talk about being trans. Who knows Larry King? So I was 15 years old. I was not out to very many people yet. I was out to my parents. They were not very accepting, especially not at that time. And just my brothers really were supporting me, and I had a few friends that were supportive, and that was it. So my support circle was very slim at the time. And I was already being bullied in school because of the way I dressed. They said I was a tomboy, and they did not like that. And I worried about coming out on a greater scale, as great of a scale as there is, right, on Larry King. Would that bring on more bullies, right? And 2009, this was when I went on the show. It was a very different time for trans people then. Very, very different. There was very little resources for us. There was like one website on the entire internet that I could find information about how to actually transition. There was only a handful of surgeons in the entire country. And I lived on Long Island, very conservative town as well. And there were just not many trans people out, especially not young trans people like me. So I felt so alone and so isolated. Has anyone ever felt that feeling of being isolated before, being alone? You could raise your hand if you resonate with that. Have you ever felt like you were the only one going through this super difficult thing that you're going through? A lot of us, right? And that feeling of isolation, it's devastating. It's really heavy. It's heavy to carry that. And that call to go on Larry King, it changed my life, and it altered that feeling of being alone. I now had the opportunity to find others like me. And I thought, maybe I'm not actually alone. Maybe if I go on this TV show, maybe there's one other kid out there in the entire world that I'll find and I could connect with them. And they'll realize they're not alone. I'll realize I'm not alone. And that's where my mind went. And my older brother helped me convince my mom to let me go on the TV show. My parents did not want me to go on. And my brother was like, we have to let him on. We have to do this. And I really felt strongly about it. And my parents said, all right, you could go on, but no last name on the show, just Ryan. And at the time, there was not many trans people out, so if you Googled Ryan transgender, you found me anyway. So I thought, you know what, maybe this feeling of isolation will go away if I went on the show. And before the call, I really believed that I would stay in the closet for life. I was afraid to come out. It was dangerous for people like me, and it still is today. And I thought that it would be too much change for the people around me. Like they would have to change the name I go by and the pronouns and the way they thought of me. And that was me saying that their happiness mattered more than my happiness. And that's not true. My happiness matters, my truth matters, and my queerness is not a burden, and my authenticity is not a burden, and neither is yours. So when CNN called, I knew, and my mind changed. I realized I was being called deeper into my activism career that started when I was 13 years old at the LGBT center near my house. And I was also being called to come out to more than just a couple of my friends, but to the entire world at once. I was being called to end my isolation and hopefully end the isolation of others as well. And I was anxious, I was excited, but I was ready to go on. I was excited. A limo came and picked me up at my house on Long Island, drove me to the city with my mom, and we went on the show. So I chose to honor that call. And I went from 10 people in my life knowing that I was trans to the entire world knowing at once. So overnight, my life changed overnight. And a miracle happened after that, which probably is still one of the most touching moments of my life as an activist. And that is following that show for weeks after, my P.O. box flooded with letters from all over the world. And I got emails and I got DMs, which were on MySpace because that was the only popular website back then. But I got a lot of letters, like boxes of letters from people all over the world, trans people. And they said things like, before I saw you, I thought I was the only one who felt like this. And they said, I'm so relieved to know that I am not the only one. And I've never seen another young trans person before. I've never seen another young trans guy before. I've never seen someone like me. And I hadn't either. So when I got these letters, I knew that I wasn't alone. And my purpose was clear. And that TV appearance, it also led to some issues for me. I went back to school, and my school, now everyone knows at my school that I'm trans, and I was in 9th grade. And not only was I being bullied by students, but I was also being bullied by the faculty, and they didn't want to let me use the bathroom at school or change for gym or go to gym class. All of these issues came up, and I found myself becoming a young activist. I was thrown into it, and I have no regrets about it, but I did not have a choice. It was either I become an activist in the 9th grade or I don't go to school. And I wanted to go to school. I loved school. So I organized petitions. I led walkouts. I was always in the hallway with a petition, asking people, please sign my petition. And people did. A lot of the students supported me. And I had to do this in order to be authentic and in order to survive. And I didn't realize that what I was doing in my school was also helping others. And 2 other trans people came out the next year. So then I wasn't the only one in my school either. We just all thought we were the only ones, and we weren't. So this connection had to form. And when I graduated from high school, I won the first ever Harvey Milk Memorial Award, which was a huge honor because Harvey Milk graduated from my high school. He was on our football team too, and that was the only time our football team was actually good. So when people come out of my school now, they're like, can you please join the football team? So after that appearance, I also went on Tyra Banks after that too. And then I was being called to speak to middle schools, high schools, conferences, conventions all over the country. And as a teenager, I was being flown to all these different places to speak. And there was some fear inside of me, but I knew that I had to answer and honor those calls because there was more people that needed to be reached and they felt alone. And I knew how devastating that feeling was. And I didn't want anyone else to feel like that. And I would go into these schools and there would be a trans student there and they would say like, they're not letting me use the school bathroom. And I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to go to the principal's office right now and I'll handle that for you. And I would convince the principal like, hey, these are human rights, you know? So I would be doing that sort of thing as a teenager. And I still do that to this day. And I get to meet the people that my work has positively impacted, which is still one of the biggest blessings of my life today. And I originally thought I wouldn't come out. I thought I would take it to my grave. And now I'm as out as one could possibly be. And I heard other calls in my head before that show saying, don't come out, stay in. And I knew that that's not the voice of God. That's the voice of fear. It's the voice of homophobia. It's the voice of bigotry. It's the voice of transphobia. And I had to discern that. And God's purpose for me, I could not go on ignoring it. I had to answer the call. I had to answer the call to come out. Coming out is a daily practice of authenticity. And practicing authenticity daily, it's not just for queer people. It's a practice that every single individual can adopt, even every single person in this room. And I'm sure that there are ways here that all of us could be more authentic versions of ourselves. Coming out is shedding what no longer serves us. It's understanding who we are actually called to be. It's about shedding the inauthentic aspects of ourselves and our lives. It's about honoring our truth. So I urge you to have a conversation with God or with a friend or with yourself. And think about the ways that you can be more authentic in your daily life. Who do you truly want to be? What do you truly want to do? Have you gone after your dream career? Is there something you've been wanting to learn, like a new language or an instrument? Are you doing what you love? Are you loving who you want to love? Are there gifts you have to offer with the world, but you haven't shared them with the world yet? Are you part of the community that you want to be part of? In what ways can you be more authentic? I urge you to think about it. We all get the chance to choose to be more authentically ourselves each and every day. Now, I'm not saying that you need to come out on international television about it, or even that you need to come out about it at all. But if there's that nagging voice in your head that's telling you that you can have a better, happier life if you were living as your authentic self, then honor that and come out about it to yourself, to others, and be you. Come out so that you can experience that part of you. Come out so that you can celebrate your authenticity, even if it's just sharing your truth to one person that you trust. Allow yourself to have that freedom, even just a little bit. You deserve to be your true self and live in a way that is affirming of who you are. You deserve that happiness. So if you hear that call and you don't want to ignore it any longer because it's ringing in your head nonstop, it's ringing off the hook, I encourage you to answer the call. Pick up. Honoring your authenticity will not only lead you to a more positive outlook and happiness for yourself, but it will also increase your positivity. It will transform you, the people around you, and therefore it will transform the world. Are you being called to come out, to shed an old part of you, to live out your truth? Harvey Milk, my fellow Bayshore High School alum, said to our queer siblings, You must come out. Come out to your parents. I know that it is hard. Come out to your relatives. Come out to your friends if they indeed are your friends. Come out to your neighbors, to your fellow workers, to the people who work where you eat and shop. Or come out to only the people you know and who know you, not to anyone else. But once and for all, break down the myths, destroy the lies and distortions for your sake, for their sake. Come out. I'm so proud to be out, to be living my truth every single day. I'm so proud to be visible. Today there's a Pride celebration here in Long Beach. Is anyone going? I'm going. Pride, it's a celebration of love. It's a celebration of authenticity. And while it's a celebration, we must remember that it's still very much so, still a protest until all of us have equality, until there's not legislation that is trying to block trans people from existing. For someone like me, Pride is 365. Pride Month is every day that I walk outside of my front door in the clothes that honor me, with the name that suits me, not correcting myself to be more masculine or be more feminine, not pressuring myself to pass as cisgender or pass as trans, not abiding to stereotypes, just allowing myself to be exactly how I am, who I am. Proudly holding the hand of my loving fiance. We just got engaged. Thank you. And knowing that God is love, and love is God, and God loves us for us, that we don't need to change because God loves our pride, God loves our love, God loves our authenticity. God is calling us to be authentic. If we listen, we have the power to find our truth. We have the power to find who we are and what it is we are meant to do, just like young Samuel. If we're willing to listen, God is always there to direct us. And it is an honor to answer God's call to be authentic every single day. For me, it's being an out member of the LGBTQIA community, this vibrant, beautiful community that's become a family for me. And I also want to encourage everyone to join together with the LGBTQ community in being better allies. Join us by supporting your LGBTQ friends, family, and fellows. Being a great ally can mean supporting those who are answering their call to be authentic. So join me if you are ready, when you are ready. Answer the call to come out. Answer the call to be more authentically you. You deserve to be you. And God loves us for who we are. So happy Pride, everyone. Thank you so much. It's been an honor. So I wrote this song. More recently, I wrote it about all the legislation that's been happening. And I relate so much because I was a trans young person, and I feel all that legislation that is being targeted to trans youth. So I just feel that so much in my heart. So I wrote this song called Hold On, You Belong. And it's on YouTube. They said, take that hat just a little child, and you're too young to know yourself. When you grow up, you want something else. Don't let your thoughts run wild. They told me to stay pretty faced. Don't you change what God creates. You're Sarah Bell, and don't you pick a new name. That's not what your mama gave. Or you'll be by yourself. Hold on, I don't belong, I don't belong. I'm so scared and I'm so blue, and I'm holding on so tightly. I'll tell them off politely, and the going, it gets more rough the longer I push through. It's just something people like us get used to. It's just something you're gonna have to get used to. They said, come share your story. Come on, say one thing that you wish you knew. The wisdom from you nowadays, from the marches and the pride parades. But have you seen the news? How did you make it? How'd you stay so patient when the laws attack? What about this legislation? Will my family embrace it? Will they have my back? Hold on, you belong, you belong. I once was scared like you, and I held on so tightly. I told them off politely, and the going, it gets easier the longer you stay true. It's just something people like us get used to. It's just something you're gonna have to get used to. It's just something people like us get used to. It's just something you're gonna have to get used to. Hold on, you belong, you belong. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, you belong, you belong. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Thank you.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged or realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all. The darkness inside you can make you feel so small. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy. Can't remember when I last saw you laughing. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors